Last Saturday, I did nothing. No work, no emails, no productivity, just sat there. And within 20 minutes, I felt sick. Not physically sick, but that specific kind of sick where your brain starts whispering, "You're wasting time. Everyone else is working right now. You don't deserve this." I got up, made tea I didn't want, checked my phone for the fourth time, anything to make the guilt stop. And here's the thing that bothered me most. I was exhausted. I genuinely, deeply needed that rest. But my brain wouldn't let me have it. So I started asking why. Why does doing nothing feel like doing something wrong? Why does the guilt get louder the more tired you actually are? And why do the people who need rest the most feel the guiltiest for taking it? What I found wasn't about laziness or discipline or motivation. It goes much deeper than that. It goes straight into how your brain was wired, long before you had any say in it. Here's something nobody explains properly. Your brain cannot tell the difference between a real threat and an unchecked to-do list. To your nervous system, both feel exactly the same. And the moment you stop moving, stop producing, stop doing something visible, your brain reads that stillness as danger. Something must be wrong. Why are you stopping? You're not finished yet. This isn't a character flaw. This isn't weakness. This is a brain running a program that kept humans alive for thousands of years. The problem is, that program was written for a completely different world. For most of human history, stillness had real consequences. An animal that rested too long went hungry. A person who stopped working fell behind and suffered for it. So the brain built a simple survival rule. Keep moving, stay useful, rest only when you absolutely have to, and even then, stay alert. That rule made sense once, but here you are, safe, fed, no predators, sitting on a Sunday afternoon with nowhere to be, and your ancient brain is still running the exact same program. Move, produce, justify your existence. And when you don't, guilt. But there's something even deeper going on. Because for most of us, this guilt didn't start in adulthood. It started when we were kids. Think back for a second. Were you praised for being busy? Did the adults around you treat hard work like it was the same thing as being a good person? Was rest something you had to earn first? Finish your homework, then you can play. Stop being lazy. Hard work is how you become something. These weren't cruel lessons. They came from people who loved you. But over years, they quietly rewired something. They taught your brain that your value is not something you simply have. It's something you have to keep proving. Through effort, through output, through visible progress. And the moment you stop, even for an afternoon, your worth feels like it disappears with it. So rest doesn't feel like recovery. It feels like evidence that you're not trying hard enough. Psychologists call this contingent self-worth. Your sense of value isn't fixed. It has to be constantly re-earned. And here's the cruel part about this pattern. It doesn't hit the people who don't care. It hits hardest on the people who care the most. People with high standards. People who want to show up fully. People who take their life seriously. The people who probably need rest the most are the exact same people who feel the guiltiest for taking it. That's not random. That's the trap. There's also something happening in your body that makes this worse. When you're in constant doing mode, your nervous system runs on cortisol and adrenaline, stress hormones. But they don't always feel bad. Sometimes they feel like energy, like momentum, like you're finally getting somewhere. So when you stop, those levels drop. And in that drop, something uncomfortable rises. Anxiety, restlessness, a low, hollow feeling you can't quite name. And your brain immediately points to the rest as the cause. See, you feel worse now. You should have kept going. But that's not what's actually happening. What's happening is your nervous system recalibrating, moving from high alert back towards something quieter. That transition feels wrong, not because rest is wrong, but because your brain has been running on stress for so long that calm feels like a warning sign. Unfamiliar feels dangerous. So what actually helps? Not a new routine, not a productivity hack, not more discipline, something much simpler. The first thing, separate rest from reward. Your brain learned that rest must be earned, that you stop only after everything is done. But everything is never done. There will always be one more thing. If you wait for the list to be empty before you rest, you will wait forever. Rest is not the prize at the end of productivity. Rest is part of how productivity is even possible. The second thing, learn to hear what guilt actually sounds like. Guilt has a very specific voice. It compares. It judges. It lists everything you should be doing instead. It sounds like other people, like expectations, like failure. That voice is not telling you the truth. It's repeating old rules that your brain absorbed before you were old enough to question them. You don't have to obey every thought that feels urgent. The third thing, name your rest out loud. This sounds almost embarrassingly simple, but research on psychological detachment shows something important. People who mentally label their rest as intentional rest recover more fully than people who stop working but keep feeling guilty about it. The body stops, but the brain keeps running the guilt loop. Naming the rest, even just thinking the words, "I am resting right now, this is intentional," gives your brain a frame to work with. It registers the rest as a choice, not an accident, not laziness, a decision. The fourth thing, stop trying to make the guilt disappear before you rest. It won't disappear, especially not at first. You will sit down. The voice will come. You'll feel the pull to get up and do something, anything, to make the discomfort stop. And the only thing that actually works in that moment is this. Don't argue with the guilt. Don't try to convince yourself you deserve rest. Just notice it. Name it quietly. There's the guilt again. And then stay still anyway. Not because the guilt is gone, but because you stopped letting it make your decisions. Here's what rest actually does when you let it happen without the guilt eating it alive. The default mode network in your brain activates. This is the system responsible for creativity, for problem solving, for emotional processing. It cannot turn on while you are busy. It only activates in the quiet, which means the clarity you've been searching for, the ideas that won't come no matter how hard you push, the emotional weight you've been carrying without understanding why, none of it can move while you're in constant motion. It only moves in stillness. The rest you feel guilty about isn't empty time. It's when your brain does some of its most important work. Work that's invisible. Work that doesn't show up anywhere. But work that makes everything else possible. You learned a long time ago that stillness was dangerous, that your worth needed constant proof, that rest was something you had to justify before you could have it. And maybe those lessons kept you going when you needed them. But you've also carried the guilt long enough to know it doesn't make you more productive. It just makes you more tired. And tired people don't do their best work. They don't show up fully. They don't think clearly. They don't feel deeply. Rest isn't the opposite of a meaningful life. It's what makes one possible. So the next time you sit down and that voice starts, let it speak. And then let yourself stay still anyway. Not because you earned it, not because everything is finished, but because you are a human being. And human beings were never meant to run without stopping. If this felt like something you needed to hear, like this video, and subscribe. Every week we explore the psychology behind the way you think, feel, and live. See you next time.